Hi guys, and happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful day here in sunny Southern California. I know not everyone around the country is as fortunate. I think several of you in the Northeast or other parts of the country are digging yourselves out from under snowbanks and snowstorms. My heart goes out to you. But regardless of where you are, today is a great day for transformational thinking and thought, and deciding what that next step is that you're going to take in your life to get more of what you want. So today we're going to talk about something that we haven't revisited in months. You may or may not remember from 7 or 8 months ago when I first started making these videos, we were very focused on the 7 P's of personal power. It was this framework or model I was dabbling around with. It's an outline I have as an idea for a second book. And I shared with you all the first 5 P's of personal power, but then never shared number 6 or number 7. We got onto other topics that were just as riveting. Some people had asked some questions at that time, and I wanted to make videos about those topics. They were very relevant, and we just never came back to it. So to close the loop and to circle back, I am going to share with you today the 6th P of personal power, and then in another day or two, I will make another video sharing the 7th P. By next week, we'll make sure that we have this all wrapped up. And just because it's been so long, I am going to recap for you all the first 5 P's of personal power, say a few words about each, and then we'll talk about P number 6 today. So, trip down memory lane, P number 1 was purpose. And this was all about having a vision statement or a mission statement for either your career, your relationship, your fitness and health goals, or your life. This is all about beginning with the end in mind and envisioning something in your life that's different than what you have today, and not being reactive or waiting for somebody to approach you and talk to you about where you're headed next, but that you decide what you really want and you organize that in your mind. You have a plan for that, whether it's written down or just in your mind, but you have purpose. You go into each day, each week, each month, each year, knowing who you are, knowing what you got put on this earth to do, knowing where your best talents and skills and abilities lie, and moving in that direction. So that was all about number 1, the first P, purpose. The second P goes very well with the first P. They're very closely correlated. And that was all about plan and planning. So what this was about was making sure on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis that you have identified what behaviors, actions, routines, habits you're going to engage in, invest in, produce to get you to your purpose. This is about establishing your big rocks first, as Covey would say, or your wigs, as the 40X would say, or really just what your top priorities are that are near and dear to your heart, that you feel are the most important next steps to bring you closer to that longer term goal. Not going into each day behind the 8 ball and sort of letting the day run you, but you coming into each day with an established plan of what's most important, what you want to get done, and what's going to help move you ahead. The third P was all about passion. And this one was near and dear to my heart because I see so often that people go to work or have jobs where they're not truly passionate about what they do, but it's, I've got to do this. I should do this. I'm supposed to do this. This is my job. And the reality is that when we find a job we love, that lights us up inside, that we're passionate about, that we just can't wait to get to and we're excited about, we never work a day in our lives. Figuring out what we're passionate about at home too, our hobbies, the relationships we care about the most, what sport it is that lights us up. Figuring out those things and then devoting massive time towards it changes everything. When we're passionate about something, we're able to have the excitement and the energy to work through the tough moments that have to do with that thing when they come, and they will. Number 4 was all about practice. So this is not about thinking that we're born with something or we get gifted. There are things that when we're born, we sometimes have advantages in over other people. Maybe we're tall and we have our height, and that helps us dunk a basketball better than a shorter person would. But nothing matters as much as the amount of time and effort and practice we are willing to devote towards our craft or honing our skills. Recognizing that consistency beats Intensity was an important theme in this topic, knowing that what we do every day and those habits that we're willing to create and work for, the discipline, the structure, the routines, that is what's going to make the difference in us getting better at something. If something's worth doing really well at the end, it's worth doing poorly for a while at the beginning, especially if we believe that through practice and failure and mistakes, but our decision to come back and try again and again and again makes all the difference in the world. And I believe that it does. And number 5 was all about being present, not focusing on the past, not getting wrapped up in what someone did or didn't do for you or to you, not focusing on anything you can't control, and also not focusing too much on the future and having anxiety over all those what ifs, but rather just staying grounded and focused on the present moment, knowing that's where your power is, and saying, this is the day that I have the most control over, the one that I'm in right now, the one that's happening. That makes all the difference. So that was a recap of the first 5 Ps. Now I'm going to share the 6th P, and this one is an interesting one because as I look at so many different frameworks and models for success and all the books I've read about it, I don't always see this included. Sometimes it is, but often it's left out, and that P is pain. It's so important that we understand that when we're going to make major changes in our lives, we're going to change our habits, our routines, something we've been doing for a number of years, and put something new there, it's going to be hard. Doing that is very, very difficult. Oftentimes, our subconscious brains scream at us and fight us the entire way. Our subconscious minds try to say things like, this shouldn't be hard. This is supposed to be easy. Maybe this is too much effort. God, you're feeling uncomfortable and a little bit out of your comfort zone. Are we sure we want to do this? Let's just go back. Let's go back the way we came, right back through that tunnel. It was better before. And we're going to have to find the strength and the resilience in our conscious minds to overcome all of that and say, nope, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And by the way, that's one of my favorite quotes. It's helped me so much. When we recognize that pain is going to be there, but we have a choice in how we react to that pain and how we respond to it, something really powerful happens to us. We're able to say, you know what, I am uncomfortable right now. This conversation that I'm having with my boss or with someone at work or with my significant other is different. It's unusual for me. I'm trying to put a new response or reaction there in a place that hasn't been there before. I'm trying to choose differently, to think differently, to make a different choice. Getting up at 6 in the morning to start working out consistently every day when you've never gotten up before 8 in the morning before is going to feel hard. There's going to be some actual physical pain there. But when we recognize that we can choose to be excited by that and encouraged by that and say, oh my gosh, good. It's good that I'm feeling a little out of my element. It's good I'm being tested and challenged. It must mean that something is changing. It must mean I'm getting stretched and grown. And that's what leads to evolution and change. If we want things we've never had before, we're going to have to do things we've never done before. And doing something new or different often feels very, very hard for us. I think a lot of us give up early. We retreat backwards because we imagine that success is supposed to be easy. We see people that have all the rewards and all the spoils of success. We don't always see all the hard work and the hours and the grit and the sweat and the pain that they had to go through to get there. And so we don't necessarily like those things. But when we make a decision to say, I'm going to embrace those things, I'm going to embrace the suck, as runners or athletes often say, and I'm going to choose to be okay with it. I'm going to bring it into my life. I'm going to lean into that pain. Something really powerful happens for us. So if you're trying to create something new, do something different, get something you've gotten before, grow yourself, recognize it's going to feel hard, it's going to be painful, and you do get a choice in how you respond to that. When you embrace that pain, when you lean in, when you know it's coming, you don't try to run away from it, you will be so much more likely to get to the other side of it and have everything you wanted. So that's the 6th P, pain, and the relationship you have with pain. And with that, happy Tuesday, and I'll see you all guys very, very soon.